Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day. Today we are finally going to build a fully automated item sorting module for any tool or sword in Minecraft. Let's go. So, before we are going to go over this absolute beast of an item sorter, there are a couple of things I need to address about it. Now, in the last video, when we went over all the mechanics that we are going to use in this sorter, a couple of people commented a couple of questions, namely, why the hell am I using drowns? Well, that's actually pretty simple. Drowns always spawn without armor, or at least in Java Edition they do. In Bedrock, it's a bit more complicated than that. And secondly, drowns love tridents, so it's really easy to sort out tridents with drowns. And third of all, they are extremely easy to farm. How I'm going to go over in another video. Now foxes, someone suggested foxes. Well, foxes are an absolute pain to farm, and they do not pick up tools. So foxes are, kind of hard to use in this. If you have a good sorter that uses foxes, then please show me, but I did not find a way to use them properly. Now zombies, well, they practically do the same thing as drowns, but they can wear armor, which is also kind of hard to get rid of when trying to get clean zombies that just hold one item in order to get the sorting started. And yeah, Bedrock players, as I said, drowned wear armor, so yeah, we're going to need a fix for that, and I'm also going to go over that and how to get drowns without armor in another video. Now, how does this sorter work? Well, we're going to start out here on the top where we have our drowned input. So here, we're going to have to input drowns that are holding one stackable item and are not wearing any armor. Not wearing armor part is really important. You're going to see why later down there, at the bottom down there, because if they are wearing armor, they are going to drop more than one unstackable item, which will ruin the whole system. So yeah, only input them if they are only holding one stackable item and nothing else. So what happens to them then? Well, they get picked up by minecart here and thrown into our storage tube here. So once they're in there, they will then be released one by one by this trapdoor, which is triggered through this mechanism, which we are going to come to in a bit. Then they will drop down here in their minecarts, drive over there, and here they will get kicked out and land right here, where they will receive one sorting item. Now, what this sorting item is or is supposed to be in order for you to sort out whatever you want to sort out, check out the last video where we went over which items you need to sort out what. And we declared all of that there, and that would take way too long to explain now. So once the drown is in there and has that item picked up, it will get pushed down by this piston, pushed over by this piston, and fall down this tube right here. The minecart is going to get recycled over here and go back up here, pick up a new drown, and go in back in top. Now, once the drown stands down here with his sorting item in hand, it's going to wait until it gets a new item. So we're going to just simulate that with a stone sword, and we're going to drop that in right here. So once that item comes along, it's going to pick that up and drop the wooden hoe. So the wooden hoe will then land in this hopper, which will get detected by this comparator here, which will then trigger this whole mechanism, pushing the old drowned out of there and putting it down here to get killed. Now this will also recycle the hoe up here, and it will also trigger the yellow mechanism up here, which once again releases a new drown to get put in here to get a new item and to then get dropped down here again, which resets the whole mechanism. Now, the hoes are sorted right here, and we need this unstackable item filter here because sometimes another item ends up here, for example a cobblestone, or in this case a cobblestone stackable item could be dropped down this chute when it picks up the new hoe, and just to prevent that we have another non-stackable item filter down here, just to be safe. And down here at the bottom, where the drowns with the sorted items come to die, here we have another unstackable item filter that filters out all the rotten flesh, and down here we have all of our stone swords that we wanted to sort out. Okay, there is one more thing I forgot to say before we're actually going to build this, and that is that this sorter is slow, like really slow. So for that to work, you're going to need to drop the items using a hopper clock, and you're going to have to put 16 items in there, which, yeah, will trigger about as fast as you see right here. Now, this is not the maximum speed that this sorter could work at, but just to be safe, put in 16 items. It could work with 15, 14, maybe even 13 items in there, which would be a lot faster, but just to be safe, use 16 items, because otherwise it could really easily break, and you do not want to have that. So, now let's actually build it. So, below our water stream right here, we are going to start out by building the killing mechanism, and that is going to be right down here. Now, that means we're just going to mark that out right here. Now, the killing mechanism is going to be around here, and the item outputs are going to be right here. So first of all, we will need an unstackable item filter right here to filter out the sorted items in the end. Now that is going to look, well, that's one too far, one too near. So we're going to put that right here. So like that, just repeater, redstone comparator, and one redstone torch right down here. Now that is then going to come back here into our output chest where we want all of our sorted items to go. Now, all the ground drops, the rotten flesh, and the copper now, that is going to go over there, over into a chest right here. Or you can just, well, drop them out into the fire and burn them. You can do that as well. Now, over here, we're going to come over a couple of blocks here and build something like this. Then we are going to take everything we need for a crusher and build our mob killing system. So that is going to look like this. We're just going to place some tripwire hooks, some string in the middle, a piston with a block in front of it right here, and a couple of blocks to power the piston, like this. Then we can already take our stained glass and cover all of this up, so that no items go flying out anywhere. Now it's important to have these two hoppers on the sides here as well, because sometimes the items spill out on the side, and you want to pick them all up. Now, for the actual chamber, we're going to need a couple of things. So first of all, we will start by placing a couple of hoppers right here. So that is going to be one hopper. Okay, that one's the wrong direction. That one needs to be facing in there. Then we need one hopper going down, and then a couple of hoppers coming out right here. And that needs to be exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hoppers. So, oh, don't fall down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hoppers. And they will then be going into a dispenser that fires them all the way up again. So, next we're going to need our redstone torch and comparator and repeaters, and we're going to place them right here. So we're going to have comparator right there, reading an output here. Then we're going to come over 2 blocks, and another 2 blocks here, and put a repeater right there, and redstone in front of it. So right there, we're going to need a target block. It's going to go right there. Now, we can go on to this actual holding chamber up here. That is going to be a trapdoor like this right there, and trapdoor like that right there. This has to be on the top of the block. That's really important, and that one has to be open. Now, here we would normally have to place a sign like this, because we would have a water stream going here, but since we somehow managed to get it to the slab here, that sign doesn't matter right now. But normally you would place a sign right there. Now next we can place in our piston right there and a block next to it. And also 1, 2, 3 blocks like that, 1 block up and 1 block over. And place redstone on top of that all. So next up we can place in 1 more block right there and cover all of this up with stained glass. So before we go over this circuit here, we can build this one over here, and that is going to be really simple. That's going to be a dropper or dispenser, whatever you want. Drops are cheaper, and we're going to take some lime concrete and also some soul sand. So all of this is going to come together to an item elevator. So that's going to be placed like that, and one on top there. Then we're going to punch out this hopper right there and place some blocks around that soul sand, so the items don't go spilling out on the sides. Then we can place another block here and build a just standard dispenser clock right here, or drop clock, or whatever you want to call it. So like that, turn that one on, and some redstone around here. Now we can already bring up the chute a bit. Just a couple of blocks later, we're going to take it up when we know where it's going to go up there, and we need to fill it up with water as well, of course. So now you might be noticing that this here is on the wrong height to go in there. So there's a very good reason for that, and that is that we need a filter before we put them in there. And that is just going to be something like this. Over here, we're going to need a chest. This chest is just here for any excess items. For example, if a cobblestone or stackable item accidentally drops in here, we need to take them out before we recycle the sorting items. That's really important because otherwise the whole system would break. Now, to build that, we just take some more purple concrete here and place it like this. Repeater right there, redstone up here, a comparator right here, and one redstone torch on the bottom. Now that is done, we can move on to the actual redstone over here. Now, this redstone wiring right here is a lot simpler than it might seem in the beginning. So you just need to place this redstone torch right here, and then one block right there with the redstone on top. And now we've got this one, and this port up here, and we just need to connect them all up together. So we're going to do that by placing some redstone like this, and then taking this down a bit further, right here, and then putting it down here, and we're on the same level as this one already. So we can connect up those two, and next we can just bring this one up right here, and placing one redstone right there. And we can also even take out this block here again. And that is a very complex variant of connecting all this redstone together, and it works perfectly. So now for the drop chute, we're just going to go here and go up 4 blocks. Go over one, up one, over one, up one. Then build a little circle around there and placing a couple more blocks over here. Actually, we can punch out those two right there, because that is where some hoppers are going to go later. So now that we got that top set up right there, we can take some... Okay, don't do anything for that one. We can take all of this down or up like that. Now be careful, you do not need to place a block right here, because in case the ground jumps around, it still needs to get pushed over here, and that can't happen if there's a block right there. So leave that block right here free. Now next up, we're going to need a dropper and some hoppers, and that is going to go right here. That is where the sorting item is going to get dropped for the ground to pick up. Then we can take this over here, right to where this is, and if you want to, you can put in the chest right here. So we're just going to do that here. Have a little extra storage just to be safe. And then we can just take this all the way up. Okay, now it's really important to fill all of this in with water. Every single block, so that water bubbles can form and that the elevator is, well, faster than just normal water. Just check. Yes, we have bubbles all the way up here. So we're good on that. Now, if we want to test this, we could by just throwing any item in down here. It would get thrown out. It should go up here, and in the end, it should end up right here. And yes, there it is. So all of this works. So we're going to start out by placing 2 blocks like this right here, 2 blocks right here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks like this right here. Then we can place redstone on top of all of these, and on top of this one, place in some repeaters like this, and we can go back one more, and then connect these two up down here like this. Okay, no, not like this, but like this instead. Now next we can take this piston here and place it in like this right here, facing it there. This piston is then going to push the ground down there, down into the chute. And then of course we can also connect up this piston like that. Now over here, we can take this signal from down here and bring it all the way up. Now, we need to be careful. We can do that down here actually. We need one repeater with max timings right here. And just connect that up right here, make sure it connects, and then bring it all the way up here. And connect it to that right there. Now, one more thing we need to do, that is to put all of these repeaters here on max timings. So next we can take our fence gate right here and start the whole chamber thing over here. That we can need some glass, and that's going to be right here. then we can start by placing in some blocks for our chamber right up here on top. That chamber, that holding chamber, is going to go up here. We can also place in one block like that right there, and one block like that, one block up here, one block down here, and just connect it up like that. So we're just going to place one repeater right there, one repeater right there, and one piston right here. So this is just going to create a really short pulse so that only one drown can go through this gate and not two, which is really important because that can also break everything. Now there's one last thing we need to do to the chute, and that is to place a trapdoor in right here and right here. So these are just so that they don't fall all the way to the side over here, but stand a bit over here, which makes it easier for them to pick up all the items. Now we can cover up those two again, and now already time for us to move on to the rail system right here. So to start out with the rail system, we're going to start by placing in some blocks right over here, and then placing in blocks over here, and then going back here. And then we can already go up a couple of blocks. And we can also make the U-turn right here. So first rail is going to be a powered rail, which we're going to power with this lever right here. Then we're coming over here with one activator rail, which also needs to be powered. And then we're going back here again with a bunch of powered rails. And then, of course, we need to go back up here. So we're also going to power all of those with the lever. And then we can go by going up a couple blocks here. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3. Place in the rails, power them, and here we are going to have to come over like this, and then go up here and come over to our chute, and of course connect that up. So now we just place in all of these rails here, and this needs to go back one, of course, otherwise these rails cannot connect. So this needs to be like this. Of course, and power this one here, and these two don't really need to be powered rails, they can just be normal rails as well. Let's just check again if we have everything powered. Yes, 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 and yes. So now we can go on to the last part, and that is the input chamber. That's just going to be a trapdoor on top of this one. Then some blocks around of that. Not here, right here. And well, in my case, I'm now going to put in my command block right here. And a piston right here to push them in. But normally you would just input your drowns that you get from your farm. You would input them right here. And well, that would work perfectly. So now we're just going to imagine that these drowns are not summoned, but input from your farm. And we're going to have them pushed into this holding chamber. Now that we have them in there, we're going to take some minecarts. Or 4 minecarts to be exact. And we're going to push them right up here. And they're going to pick up a drowned and bring it down there. So another one. And another one. And another one. Perfect. Now, just to be safe, we're going to have to kill the bottom drowned here because that one took a bit of damage. And we do not want drowns that took damage in here because otherwise they could die whilst falling down here and that would not be good. So let's take that out again and put one more drowned in there. And yeah, now we would almost be done setting up the farm. The only thing that's left to do is, well, first of all, clear up the inventory, of course, but then also take in your sorting items. In our case, that is going to be a wooden hoe again, just like over there, and we're just going to throw a bunch of those in here. Now, that we've done that, we need to take out one hoe again, and we're going to need this to prime the system. So let's just check. We've got enough hoes in here to start, and that means we can just go ahead and throw this hoe right there. That will trigger the whole system once. And oh, we made a mistake. We put a transparent block right here. That needs to be a full block. Otherwise, the minecart won't start. Now you can see the whole thing went through, and our guy here, of course, did not get pushed through because we screwed up with our minecart here. But now, from now on, it should work fine. So, now to test the whole thing out, we are going to take one stone sword and give it the sorter to sort. So let's throw it in there and see what happens. Oh, yes, of course. We forgot to place in one piece of redstone right here. So here we need a piece of redstone because otherwise this dispenser is not going to trigger and this guy here is not going to have a hoe to throw down. So if something like that happens, you just go here and throw in a new hoe. And the whole thing gets reset. Now you can see that guy picked up his hoe and got his hoe, and now everything should work. You can see that guy dies down there, so all of that should be working fine. Now let's take a couple of swords and test the whole thing out. So, throwing the sword. That guy picks it up, gets thrown over there, gets dropped down there. We get a new drowned, and that new drowned is holding a hoe. Everything works perfectly, and we've completed our building here. That would be the finished sorter. So we can see our swords are down here. Now you might be wondering, one sword is always stuck in here because, well, when the next one comes in, that one of course will get pushed out, but that means that you will always have one item in here. But that's the case with every single sorter like this. We've also got that over here with one wooden hoe, but it doesn't matter. That just gets pushed out when the next item comes in. So here, of course, we got our rotten flesh that we got from killing all of those drowns. And, well, yeah. That would be the block by block tutorial completed for the complete sorter. Now, let's move on to the timing circuit back here. So, first of all, we're going to build our item aligner right here. Now, there's a lot of ways you can build these item aligners. I just took this way for, well, absolutely no reason, just because I can. So, that's just going to be like this. Then we are going to need one block right here. We're going to take a trapdoor because the wall is not going to connect to it, and that way we have the perfect space right here that will align it to be perfectly on the side of this water stream. Now next up, we're going to take this out a bit here, and we're going to align it against this wall as well by using a couple of more trapdoors. And then we just cover all of this up and place in our water, and that water is simply going to go right here. Okay, no, that's not far enough. That's not gonna work, but right here. So right here, and another block of water right in here. I'm gonna waterlog that trapdoor and place all of this stuff back in here. Here, 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 and here. And it's spilling all over the place. Okay. So now that we've actually got all of that in place, we can go on to the dropper circuit back here. So this dropper circuit is just going to be one dropper right here. And, well, how you want to build this is absolutely up to you. Just the items need to be aligned, and the clock that powers this dropper needs to be the right one. So, now the length of this clock is going to be exactly 16 items inside of a Etho Hopper clock. So, to build this clock, we're going to need a comparator right here, and another comparator right here, then two hoppers facing into each other to punch out those blocks. A block here, redstone on top, block here, a redstone on top, one redstone block right on top of one of those. Then you can place one piston on top of that, piston on top of that, sticky pistons in both cases, and then you put 16 items in there. Now the output from this clock, you are going to have to take from this redstone block up here. And yeah, it does not matter if you put it here or over here. It just takes one less redstone over here, so I'm just going to put it right there. Now this is going to trigger the clock every so often, and at this speed, this whole sorter will work perfectly. Not the max speed, as I said before, but it should work. And, well, how fast are you going to need to sort unstackable items anyway? So, that should be everything completed. So all that remains is to grab each bunch of swords and test this thing out. So for that, we're also going to need some more drowns. So let's spawn in some drowns up here. Push them in. And now let's build in a couple of swords here. A couple of rows, that should be enough. And let's see. So that goes down here. It lands in there and goes over here. Drown picks it up. Gets pushed down there, gets killed. Let's wait for it to die. It's dead. And the sword is in here. Perfect. And the next one's here already. And the whole thing keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. Thank you so much for watching to everyone who made it till the end right here. I hope you had exactly as much fun watching this as I had making it, and I hope you learned a bit as well. So, in the next video, as I said, we are going to look at ground farms and how to farm grounds holding items. Till then, please make sure to subscribe, comment down below if you have any other ideas or any comments about this thing, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!